Hey everyone, Zach the Money Nutritionist here. Thanks again for joining me because today I really want to talk about an important topic for those of you who are selling real estate, and that's exactly how you can do a home that's for sale by owner and make some extra cash. So if you're new to the channel, my name's Zach the Money Nutritionist, and my job is to give you healthy money tips from everything from the stock market, crypto, to real estate, or doing your own marketing and creating your own brand. So I try to give you healthier tips than what's typically done online, because you'll hear things like, oh, it's really easy to do, or you're going to get rich overnight, and that's just not the case. I try to give you the healthiest, smartest decisions that you can take when it comes to your financial well-being. So with that said, if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe down below, and let's get into the info. If you're trying to sell a house for sale by owner, which just means you're going to sell the house without the help of a realtor, then that means you need to know these tips and tricks, and the very first thing you need to do is make that decision now. The reason I say you need to make that decision now is that just means you need to take action. You need to decide if you want to just do it for a little bit of time, or if you're going to just stick to it throughout the length of the listing. So for me, I made the decision to do a house for sale by owner because I was going to make more money. And I gave myself 2 weeks to get my first contract, or else I was going to use a realtor. And luckily, it only took 5 days. If you haven't seen the video, pros and cons for selling a house by owner, then go check that out now. If you have seen the video, let's go ahead and talk about the exact details of what I did to sell my house for sale by owner. So the very first thing I did was make the decision to sell my home because I knew the market was hot, I knew houses were going quickly, and I knew that the house across the street from me had sold and how much it had sold for. So I had a good idea of how much I would make from the house. If you don't, do what's called a market analysis to decide how much you're going to make. If you're happy with that amount of how much you can make from selling your house by yourself, then that will help you make the decision to take the next step. And the next step that you need to take when you're doing a house for sale by owner, after you've decided how much it'll sell for, is fix it up. You want to fix up anything that's broken and make sure that it's not broken. And that's anything from doors coming off hinges. I had 2 doors coming off hinges. Actually, no, 3 doors coming off hinges. Fix any windows if they're not expensive. Fix broken glass if it's not expensive. Fix painting problems. If you have some scratches on the wall, fix it. Just go over the paint. Hopefully you still have the old paint, or you know what it was, or repaint the whole house if you've been there for a very long time. Luckily, I didn't have to do that because I did some remodeling, but paint the house so it's nice and fresh. Replace some floors if it's cheap. Replace the carpet if it's cheap. Clean up the house. Buy some furniture for staging if you decide to do that. But the whole point is pressure wash, clean, get everything nice and neat so that it looks immaculate and amazing. That's the step number 1. Step number 2 that kind of goes with number 1 is you need to make upgrades. If you know that it's only going to cost you 10 grand to update your kitchen, but you're going to get 20 grand back in value because you can raise the price of the house by 20 grand by just putting in 10, then do that. Do any upgrades that you think are going to bring back a ton of money. And the common nomenclature is update the bedrooms. Sorry, that's actually wrong. Update the bathrooms and update the kitchens. That's what you want to update and focus on, because that'll give you the biggest bang for your buck when you sell your house. After you've done any upgrades and you fixed up the house to make it look amazing, you have an optional step. You can do what's called a pre-inspection, which means you'll have a contractor come in and hunt through the house for any issues. And by doing that, you can go ahead and get them fixed before someone has an offer on your house. And the benefit in doing that, let me just give you an example. You can get Billy Bob down the street. Actually, the guy I had, his name was Bob. He would come over and fix things. He was a handyman. He wasn't licensed, but he could fix plumbing. He could fix anything, but he was cheap. So if I knew the issues beforehand, I can get someone cheap to come in and fix them. You don't have to be licensed. If your house goes under contract and they find issues in your house and you get them fixed, you have to use somebody that's licensed, which means it's going to be a lot more expensive. So some people elect to get their house pre-inspected before they list it. That's completely up to you. I didn't do it because I was very familiar with the issues I did have. Granted, they found issues I didn't know I had, and it cost me $2,000. So it's up to you if you want to take that gamble. Would I recommend it? Probably. If you have an older house, I would recommend doing that. The other option you have is to hire an appraiser. They'll come out and tell you how much your house is worth before you list it. It's expensive. I wouldn't do it unless you've been there for a really long time or you have trouble figuring out how much your house is worth. So in that instance, you have two options. You can do an appraisal beforehand or do the pre-inspection. And again, that's after you've done all those upgrades and fixes. The next thing you need to do is fill out a disclosure form. And this is going to disclose everything that's wrong with the house and all the upgrades you've done. You also want to fill out what's called a mineral and oil disclosure form. You have to do that in North Carolina. I'm really not sure if you have to do it in other states, but I would definitely check. That basically states if there's oil found on the property, you have no knowledge that anyone else has the rights to that oil, and that you don't have the rights to the oil or minerals if it's found on your property. So those are two forms you'll want to fill out. Now, once you fill out the forms you'll need to provide to potential buyers, you've gotten the house nice and neat, you've potentially done your pre-inspection, so everything's ready to rock and roll. The next thing you need to do is focus on marketing, because when it comes to selling a house for sale by owner, that's the most important part, is the marketing. You need to get out and take fantastic photos. Either hire a photographer or use your Canon camera or your smartphone and take amazing, immaculate photos from all types of angles, any which way that you can. Take hundreds of them if you can. And then you want to go through, pick the best ones and edit them. So that's the next thing you want to do, is get those pictures. When you're taking pictures, just make sure your lighting is really good. Make sure you're getting pictures of things that make the house look much nicer. Make sure you can make the rooms look big. Move furniture in a way that makes the rooms look better. You can move furniture in one way and take pictures, then move the furniture in a different way and take different pictures and see which ones you like better. But just take a ton of photos inside and outside of the house. And after you've done all your photos, what you need to do is decide where you're going to list your house. So you have tons of options today when it comes to listing your home, and that's exactly why I listed mine. And it's because you have Zillow, you have Trulia, Hot Pads, ForSaleByOwner.com, Facebook, Craigslist. You can put out a sign. You've got tons of options for marketing the house by yourself. And when you hire a realtor to sell the home for you, that's what they're doing. They're marketing the home for you. That's what you're really paying for. It's a marketing expense. And it's going to run you about 5%. So no, I was not about to pay 5% on $200,000 to market my house when all the marketing was free. I took the pictures myself and I listed the house myself. So save that money if you can. When you're listing your house, you're going to have to write a bio. So you need to write in a way that makes the house sound appealing. It has a long, beautiful stretch front porch. You have vista views of a lake, or you have great schools close by. You need to focus on things that will appeal to people. You have a great big vaulted ceiling in the living room. Brand new upgraded master suite. Like, use terms that will appeal to people. Make it sound great. What I would do is find other houses that are for sale and use their bios to write your own. Take little bits and pieces and try to mimic what other houses are using and put that into your own bio. And you can literally use the same bio everywhere, and you'll use your top, 15 photos everywhere too. You've compiled all your information, you fixed up the house, and now you're marketing it so that people can see it. And after you've marketed it, that's when you're going to start getting blown up with phone calls and emails. So when someone calls you or emails you, you need to respond extremely quickly, because they're going to get distracted by other houses, or they're going to think that you're not professional. So always have your phone ready. And what I recommend is getting a second phone number. You can get an app. I use what's called MySudo. You can use MySudo to get a new phone number, and you'll get blown up by everyone trying to buy your house to that number. So when you're done, you can discard that number and keep your regular phone number. What you also need to do is get a lockbox. It's going to run you about $40 for a nice one. And a little tip, after you're done using the lockbox, because you've sold the house, keep the receipt and the box. You can take the lockbox back. That's exactly what I did. So it's not going to cost you anything. So when people call and ask, hey, is the house available? You'll say yes. Here's the lockbox code. Are you a realtor? They'll say yes. You'll give them a code, and they'll take the people who are interested in buying the house, aka potential buyers, to view your home. And if they like it, they'll maybe ask for the disclosure forms, which you'll provide because you already did them. And then they'll make you an offer if they want to buy the house. This means when people go to view your house, make sure you're leaving the utilities on. That includes water and electric. You'll leave them on, but what I did is go adjust your thermostat to something either really high so the air doesn't come on in summer, or really low so the heat doesn't come on in winter. So adjust your thermostat so it's not racking up your bills while no one's there. That's what I would do. Something to be aware of when you do a for sale by owner: since you're not paying a fee to a realtor for yourself, you're going to be dealing with the realtor for the buyer, which means they're going to take 3% up from you for the sale of the house, because you're working with a realtor, just not your own realtor. So imagine if you had a realtor and then they had a realtor. That's going to get expensive. So what you'll say is, yes, I agree to work with the realtor of the buyers. Just know that you're going to lose 3% from the sale of the house. So it's no big deal. I would say accept that. The only other thing I would say when it comes to fees, let's suppose 2 weeks goes by. You haven't sold your house yourself and you want to use a realtor. You don't have to use a realtor. You can call a realtor and say, hey, I'll give you 1% of the sale of the house just to list it on the MLS, which makes it seem more legit, and people actively working with realtors will see the house listed. So that's what I would do if you can't sell it as step number 2. If you can't sell it yourself, pay 1% to a realtor just to list the house. They don't do anything else. They just get paid to list your house. It's super hard, right? I'm in the wrong business here. I need to be a realtor. Now, once someone does like your house, they're going to give you a contract and say, here's what we want to buy the house for. Here's any contingencies. Here's the type of loan. And you look at it, and if everything checks out, then you'll sign it. What I would recommend is getting someone who is well-versed in real estate contracts and get them to look at it and give you any advice to see if they see anything that's off. If everything checks out, go ahead and sign it and get the house under contract. Again, it took me 5 days to get my house under contract, and that whole time I was super impatient. I was literally 2 days away from listing it on the MLS, paying an extra 1%, but luckily it went under contract. And the loan they were using was a little sketchy. It was like, why are you getting a variable interest loan when interest rates are stupidly low? It didn't make any sense, but it was just because they got a pre-approval letter from a bank just so they could look at houses, but it was not the loan that they were actually going to use, because the house I was selling was a USDA home. So they didn't think that was even an option. So I told them the home was USDA eligible, so they changed the type of loan they were going to use, which made my life a lot easier because that loan was going to be a lot easier to get. But I digress. I just thought that was useful information if you're going to do a USDA house. So while your house is under contract, you're going to have some back and forth with the realtor. They're going to ask you some questions about the home, if they can go into it at certain times, when the inspections are scheduled, and after they do all the inspections, which is called due diligence, because they're checking everything about your house. They're going to probably find some things that are wrong, depending on how much work you put in the front end. On the house I sold, they found a couple things that were wrong. They used a contractor to price out how much it all would cost to get fixed, and then it ran about $2,000. So they wanted a check for the amount to fix the house. I decided just to lower the amount of the house and write them a check for less money. That was just a negotiating tactic I used. It was going to come out to be the same either way, but it saved them money because the way we did it, they were going to have more cash on hand to do the fixes themselves. So I was a little nice to the buyers. It's good to do business with people in the best way possible. But what you need to know is when they do their due diligence and they find things that are wrong with your house, you need to be able to negotiate and say, this is what I will pay for, this is what I won't pay for, and you're going to have some back and forth. And really, when it comes to selling a house, that's the only thing you have to do is worry about the contract, all the upfront work, and then negotiating if they find issues. Because after that, you don't have to do anything. It's all on the buyer. You're just waiting for closing. And then when it's done and it's said and done, they've done all their checks, they've got their mortgage, you go into the lawyer, you sign your paperwork, which is only maybe less than 5 pages when you're the seller, and then they say, hey, we're going to wire you the money by the end of the day. See you later. And you're done. And then at that point, you go on your way and you enjoy the success that you just gained. So I hope you learned something from this video. And if you've thought about using a realtor, maybe this changed your mind. That wasn't really my goal. I just wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like to sell a house by yourself, because when I was making that decision, I wish there were more videos I could have turned to that gave me a step-by-step description of exactly what I needed to know and do. I kind of figured it out on my own because it wasn't that hard, but if I had the blueprint, that would have made it even more easier. So hopefully at least one person can use this in the future. If not, so be it. Still find it useful. Maybe you'll find something in here that's a good tip or trick for something else. Who knows? But that's all the information I have for you today. Make sure to comment below if you have any more insight or something that I missed, or if it's something unique to your state, because every state's different. I was here in North Carolina, so make sure to leave a comment down below, subscribe, and like this video if you got something useful from it, and I'll see you in the next one.
1, 2, 3, jump!